You are not the only one in the world, nor is our civilization the only one in human history. There were many civilizations that disappeared under water or under sand, with millions of people, homes, cities, and factories. Noah's flood is one of these disasters that drowned human civilization, all of which. But there were civilizations before that were destroyed by other astronomical catastrophes. Fire and flaming stones came down from the sky, and people took shelter from them in caves and underground homes. Human civilization is still threatened once again with annihilation. It is man who will annihilate it this time. You will perish without knowing where this civilization came from, and on which civilizations our cities and factories were built. We still do not fully understand how the pharaonic civilization appeared so complete and mature all at once. As if it was somewhere in the world, then it was moved and resurrected. The pharaohs were the first to talk about the sinking continent of Atlantis. Antiquities in Zimbabwe and Central Africa confirm to us the presence of tens of thousands of spaceships the years. The inscriptions in Peruvian caves confirm to us the existence of a human being who used to fly with help, with very advanced machines, the traveler. Rugi Tor Heyerdahl is one of the believers that the pharaohs were the ones who performed miracles, and that if all civilizations appeared in the West, their light came from the East. The famous phrase said by Albert Einstein is still wonderful and exciting. Einstein said, "The most wonderful feeling that fills a person's soul as he looks to the sky is that there is an enormous secret behind everything. This secret is the true source of all knowledge. Every person who does not sense this secret is a blind person." The Torah tells us about Noah's flood. We also talked about inscriptions, tablets, and the Tower of Babel. If we do not know the details of what happened, nor what was said, the Torah did not say more than that civilization took a chosen place between the Tigris and the Euphrates, and that it was born before that in heaven. That is, human civilization is based in the Middle East. But the monuments in France, Ireland, Spain, and Mexico confirm, and this is a scientific fact, that they lived and flourished thousands of years before that, just as the flood struck between France and England. Inscriptions confirm this in Scotland, Portugal, Germany, and Romania. It confirms that before the Tower of Babel was established, civilizations flourished in this country, and that its people were very active and energetic. As for China, there is evidence that there were ancient civilizations in Asia that lived hundreds of thousands of years before our civilization. The French naturalist Bevin confirms that blocks of granite were thrown from heaven to earth. The mathematician Laplace says, "There are great peoples who do not know their name or even their language. They have disappeared under strange circumstances from this earth." The German scientist Humboldt, the father of botanical geography, says, "A flood drowned most of this inhabited earth." The great scientist Arago assures us, "This flood is one of the possibilities and does not answer all the questions." A cosmic catastrophe must have occurred, erasing written history on the face of the earth. These scholars agreed on one thing, that an earthquake or a frightening flood drowned the face of the earth 4,000, 10,000, or 16,000 years ago. And it is not a single flood, but more than one flood, and more than one cosmic catastrophe. This means that this civilization was born from another civilization. In the Gobi Desert, Soviet archaeologists found underground cities. The sand hid it. In the Arabian Desert, as well as near Marib in Yemen, they found the remains of Sheba, the throne of Bilqis, cities buried in the dirt, and canals and dams that confirm the existence of an ancient Arab civilization. And in the north of the Arabian Desert, at the city of Palmyra, where the kingdom of Zenobia was, the ruins indicate that this region was part of from cultivated land. It was not a barren desert, as it is now. It was a small city called Capua. It is said that Heraclius was the one who demolished it. Although Hercules is a mythical character, the cause must be a cosmic catastrophe, or the same disaster that burned the entire earth. In Lake Copus in Greece, there is also an underwater city. This city has wide, deep-water streets and canals. Greece has never known such geometric canals in its entire history. In Egypt, temples disappeared under the sand. This is clear in Thebes and Karnak, and it is naive to imagine that the air was what pushed the sand, burying all the cities and those on them. Thus, and with this simplicity, such sand has not been known to Egypt for thousands of years, even though the cycles of astronomy are extremely precise and orderly. Is it certain that Egypt before the flood and before the pharaohs is still asleep under hundreds of millions of cubic meters of sand? The Sphinx did not exist in the desert as we see it now, but it was built on stone ground. The temple under the Sphinx is of a strange type. It is a bare-walled temple with no inscriptions or drawings, and it has been buried by sand for thousands of years. The French archaeologist Marbet believes that the secret of Egypt's secrets lies here under the father the Sphinx and under the base of the Great Pyramid. It can be said that the secret of the Great Pyramid and all the pyramids of Egypt is unknown to anyone. The scientists who used cosmic rays years ago to learn the secrets of the pyramid, in fact, want to know a secret beyond that. They want to know the truth about this strange, wondrous building that has no counterpart in the world. Who built the pyramid? Are they the pharaohs? And why? Are they other people from other planets? And why? The French campaign determined the era in which the pyramids were built as 4,000 years before Christ. Although the astronomer known as al-Balkhi believes that the pyramids were built more than 36,000 years. This is completely far from the truth. As for ancient myths throughout the world, east and west, they all talk about a day or a time. The sky was seen from the earth, stones fell, and hot water descended, and this confirms an astronomical fact, which is the approach of the planet Venus to the earth. But these pyramids, despite their clarity and prominence, are the most mysterious monuments. This horrific accident must have been what led to the sinking of the continent of Atlantis. This continent used to occupy the same place that is now the Atlantic Ocean. The pharaohs are the owners of this theory. The great Greek philosopher Plato told us about this. Plato says that the wise Solon asked the Egyptian priests in the city of Sais. They said to him, "A flood has come," and he flooded the earth, and people were destroyed time after time. For this reason, the human race has no history and no information about past eras, and the continent of Atlantis sank after the flood. In Chaldean mythology, there is a story about a king who escaped from the flood with his children. They got off the ship and were then lifted up into the sky. Ancient Indian myths confirm the occurrence of the flood. In pharaonic Egypt, we read that one of the gods recorded all of his wisdom on 2 stone tablets, so that the flood would not sweep it away if it happened again. As for the papyrus leaves, they confirm that there was a flood of blood, rain of red clay, that fires consumed houses, and that people drowned. And in the books of Zoroaster, a war between the god of evil and the stars and planets led to the destruction of the world. This civilization of ours, then, is not the only civilization. There are many scientists who have accepted the challenge and are trying. Will scientists succeed in discovering these secrets? Maybe one day, but not today.